Welcome to Exit Frag. I'm Zeph. I'm joined by Esports Andy. Today we are going to preview and predict the last four matches of VCT Americas. Andy, we got a banger of a game to start us off. We have Sentinels versus G2. Winner is guaranteed a spot at Masters Bangkok.
Okay. So I think most people will probably say G2, and I would have to say G2 also. Like, I think this is such a hard match because Sentinels is Sentinels. Like Zekken, like they've been figuring out a really good team comp, team agent pool. Um, but if this was a best of 5, I would actually probably give it to like Sentinels. But G2 has the map pool. They have the ability to plan for a best of 3 because I don't even think it's gonna get to a map 3 in this one. I think G2 will be able to sweep them, but I think both maps. I think it'll be like a 13-11, 13-9 type deal. Like I think it's gonna be it's just that there's no weak points, and Leaf is doing incredible, and Jajimo is doing what he needs to. I just don't see G2 losing this in a best of 3.
Yeah, I will have to disagree here. Maybe just because I want 3 maps from these two teams, because I love high quality Valorant, and I think this is going to be. These two teams are going to have their toughest test with each other, because G2. I'm not saying they've had an easy time, but I think they've had, a little less high caliber teams. We had Cloud9, who they were able to destroy. They had Leviatan, which they did have a little bit of trouble with. I'm not going to say it was a lot, but it was a little bit of trouble. And this time they're playing against one of the most resilient teams. Sentinels, on the other hand, we saw their match versus MIBR. They were able to beat them. No, I'm sorry, not MIBR. 100 Thieves. And they were able to beat them in a banger of a game as well. Then we got another banger versus Loud, and there was a lot of instances in those matches where Sentinels were having to come from behind and find ways to like adapt like mid game. And I think that factor is what might take us to 3 maps, because while I do think G2 is the better team and will likely be able to win, I'm not going to discount the fact that Sentinels have been able to, at minimum against Loud, come from behind on 2 maps and steal the map from them. I think it'll happen once on either the second map or the first map, but I still do think that G2 look far more impressive. Like you said, Leaf has been popping off. Jajimo is just Jajimo. And you still have like 3 really good players. Trent has been playing at a really like high level, and I think that their high level of play is going to continue, because I really do feel like G2 is legitimately like Optic Gaming 2.0, not in like the terms of like the players, but the way that this team has been formed.
I Yeah, I actually like. I think it's such really interesting both these teams pass because Sentinels have had the like much harder path because I think 100 Thieves is probably the 5th best team in the league. They fell out really early, but I think they're like the 5th best team, and then I think Loud's like the 4th best.
Right.
Lev and Cloud9, I don't think are that at all, and so we haven't really seen them do as much. So I could definitely see like people being wary about them, with especially Sentinels proving that they can beat really good teams in Americas. With that being said, they like you said, they were coming back from behind. I don't think they will be able to do that one bit against G2. I
It's
think G2 is too good to. I think G2's issue is if they start off down early, will they be able to come back? Because I feel like Sentinels can snowball, especially with how hyped they get. Because G2 is not like G2 is can be an energy team and build that energy more, but they do have more of a tendency when they're down to stay down.
That's true. I will say, like, sometimes when JohnQT like gets in his head about like his tactics maybe not working, then like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it affects him mentally, and that affects the rest of the team. Um, I really do think like it'll come down to like vibes in certain instances. Like if Zellsis can pick up John during certain segments, then I think they'll be able to make the comeback. But like you said, like yeah, I just expect G2 to like play near perfect, especially because they know like this is going to be their toughest match. I think the best Valorant from them is going to come out.
And also, I feel like they're like with my whole thing with G2 when they take like when they start running away with maps. The thing is that makes it so hard to beat them when you're trying to come back is that sometimes they'll just have rounds that they're going to win.
Right.
You're not going to win a round off of them on that one round because they just had better ideas than you did. And that's what makes them so hard in the long run. Like even if you're Sentinels.
Yeah, I think for Sentinels, the keys to victory for them are especially on the attack side.
Yeah.
When G2 are on the attack side, you definitely do not want to get into a post plant situation against them, and especially not if they're in a disadvantage. If Sentinels are at a disadvantage at any point during a post plant, it's going to be very difficult because G2 have shown that they are extremely disciplined in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so try to avoid a post plant situation. You're trying to either defend site or retake without them planting, and then you don't want to be at a disadvantage. If they can find those two key factors, I think they can steal at least one map off of them. MIBR versus KRU Esports, the Battle of South America.
I'm surprised MIBR got this far.
I'm not, but I'm
I
I'm only not surprised because it's ASPAS.
Yeah, that's how I am like not completely surprised. I just like this team. I don't even think is. I think they have a lot of holes.
There's a lot of gaps in this team's play style. I think they show a lot of sloppiness when it comes to like teamwork, compared to the other teams that are here. But I still do think that they do have a lot. They're trying to live up to that potential that we hyped them up to be at the beginning of the season. Cortesia is finding his stride. We just got Arzin just had like the game of his life last week against Leviatan. So I do think that there is some snowballiness going on for MIBR, but they really do have to work on the retakes because like we mentioned in our previous video, there was just way too many times where they were at a disadvantage, and while they could have tried to play it, they didn't even attempt to. So will that affect them against KRU? I think so, but mostly because I think KRU is a team that's more willing to play you even if they're at a disadvantage.
Yeah, I think if we're talking about like paths to this point, I think MIBR has had one of the like softest because they had 100 Thieves that they got like I think 100 Thieves is like the only really good team that they played and they lost to. And I don't think it was an issue fully of, oh, they just weren't ready. Like, yeah, it definitely was that they like their players that now that are heating up after their fourth match is definitely like they're heating up, but also it's their fourth match,
True.
so it would make sense. Because they went and played Cloud9, beat them in 3 maps, beat EG obviously, and then beat Lev in 3 maps. I don't have that much faith in that path as much as I would with KRU. KRU has like you could say whatever you want about NRG, but KRU beat them pretty solidly. They have a lot of firepower that's consistent, and then they beat Loud, which I'm like really high up on Loud right now. That's why I probably would have KRU winning this. I do think it'll be 3 maps because ASPAS and also their players are all heating up now. I think it'll be their MIBR's best game, but I don't think that they'll be able to take it. I just think they're gonna slip towards the end of like a map, and that'll be kind of it for them.
Yeah. Do I see this team going to Bangkok? No.
Crazy.
Do I see KRU going to Bangkok? That one is still questionable.
I would hope so. That'd be awesome.
I like KRU, but I can't see them like making it, especially because we've seen so much from Sentinels and G2, like how much higher their level of play is, and I think it would be a really big upset if one of those two teams does not go.
Especially with like these like matches being a best of 5 after. It's so hard to beat like a good team. That's what really shows like a good team from a great team that's going to be going to like an international and making a run. Um,
All right, so I think for KRU and MIBR, I'm gonna go with MIBR. Shout out to Brazil. I think that they're playing well, and I think that they could squeak out a victory here, even if it's like in a map 3 and a couple of overtimes here and there. I think they have like the raw talent to do it if they keep rolling, if they keep snowballing. I think they can do it.
because I would have KRU and I would have like Sentinels meeting them in the lower finals.
So then Sentinels versus MIBR. Who would you have?
In that match, I would definitely have Sentinels. But if it was KRU playing Sentinels, I would be more, I don't know. Because I think KRU has actually a good chance to upset Sentinels, but I don't think MIBR does.
Interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting point. I think I somewhat agree with it. Like I said, like I feel like MIBR and KRU are pretty evenly matched. I mean, I could be totally wrong, and then KRU just stomp MIBR, but
I think if Keznit has like an insane match,
yeah, that's true.
he and the team around him is good enough that they can upset any team other than G2. I don't think they could upset G2, but I think they could upset, like they could beat MIBR, and I think they could upset Sentinels.
Yeah,
But do I think that will happen? I think that would be kind of crazy, but nah.
yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah. I think it's Sentinels. Despite whatever happens, I think it's still Sentinels that make it to Bangkok. So you heard it here. Exit frag. We got Sentinels and G2 for Masters Bangkok. All right. Hey, okay. Here's the real question. If G2 make it to the grand final, do they win their first best of 5?
No, because
No.
that would make everyone way too hyped up on them. I think they have to lose, and I think
Okay.
because they should win. They should easily win. Whoever they play, they should win.
Well,
I think Sentinels will end up beating them in like 4 maps.
wow. In 4, eh?
Yeah, because I think they're
Wow.
gonna choke, and then I think they're gonna do really good at Bangkok.
Do you have a G2 winning Bangkok?
No.
No. Oh, okay. Spicy. Maybe we'll talk about more about that during the whenever we get the results.
When we get there, yeah.
Yeah.
If they even make it, because they could just bomb out and not even make it.
I hope not. It's not gonna happen. I don't think so.
That'd be tragic.
Yeah. All right, so that was our preview and predictions for week 5 of VCT Americas Kickoff. Join us tomorrow when we preview and predict the rest of the regions. For Esports Andy, I'm Zeph. We'll see you tomorrow.